All right, so I've been wanting to do this video for a little while, and I'll be honest, I'm not really in the mood to do one today. Just been kind of procrastinating on it. Life happens, kind of down, it's rainy out, bunch of bullshit. But to hell with it, been wanting to do it for a while. Figured I'd just kind of bang it out and take it from there. So, push-ups, pet peeve of mine. I think everybody in the fitness world, whether you're a coach or a trainer or just kind of works out a lot, there's that one exercise that just kind of is a pet peeve when you see it done wrong. And for me, that's push-ups. I don't know why. I couldn't possibly tell you, but that's probably one of the more common things that I see done incorrectly, even if you do a lot of them. So what I want to do today is show you how to do a proper push-up, how to build up to a proper push-up. So let's say you just don't have the strength to do it, which is honestly very common. You do have to build up to it. I'll show you a progression that'll get you there. And then a few variants on the push-up that kind of work out different muscles and gives you a nice full range of strength. So let's just kind of dive right into this guy. So I can't tell with the zoom on this. It's honestly pretty difficult to find a good angle to show this off. I'm going to try and edit it to different angles so you can kind of see what it looks like directly front on and from the side, because both matter. Your hand placement and your elbow movement are both incredibly important for this. But we'll start with this side. So when it comes to starting with the push-up, a lot of times people's elbows tend to flare out, and that's not good. You know, you're putting a lot of pressure on your joint right there. You're going to hurt your elbow over time. You know, it kind of sucks, and you're limiting your muscle, your muscle activation. You really want to get your chest involved, and your triceps involved. So for the standard push-up, first thing is you want to make sure that your hands are directly under your shoulders. So on the side, it looks like right there. So you don't want to be out here in front of you, and you definitely don't want to be back here. That's a slightly different exercise. It's kind of a yoga thing called chaturanga, but we'll get into that in the future. So directly under the shoulders with your palms pointing outwards. Now the reason why I started in this angle, so I like to kind of talk about having the inside of your elbows pointing forward. The easiest way to make sure your elbows don't flare out when you're coming down is to have those pop pointing straight ahead and your hands pointing straight ahead too. Sometimes when people bring those elbows forward, they turn those hands out. You really want to be nice and solidly planted here. Then up on the toes and bring those feet together. I know a lot of times when people they don't have the upper strength, they'll try and do like on their knees. Never, ever, ever go on your knees. You will not get stronger that way. There's a lot of core activation in the push-up. And that, I know that's something of a cliche to hear, right? And a lot of times people don't know what that even means. But your core strength matters. You want to kind of squeeze yourself in the middle, not super hard, but activate it. Keep the back straight. Don't let it sag. You don't want to round your back out. So maybe I won't let it. I'll just do it all here. I don't know if you can see all this. You don't want the back to sag. You don't want to kind of be up like this either. It makes it easier, but it takes out the purpose. So straight on ahead, hands down, feet together, back straight, elbows stay in. So if you notice when you're coming down, the elbows should not flare out. Oh, I don't even like the way that feels. Don't do that. Make sure they stay behind you. So down, up, push straight away, all the way down. And when I say all the way down, I mean all the way down. A lot of times you see people kind of coming down to like here or out to here. Just connect. Push, down, push. Well, I would love to not be on my knees, but I can't get it back up when I get all the way down there, so I go on my knees so I can do the push-up. Jerk. No. Elevate. This makes it easier. You want to make sure your form is always correct. Now, when you're using a box, it could be a shelf, it could be a bed, it could be a bench, it could be whatever, but you still want to kind of have those hands directly under those shoulders. It's a lot easier to kind of come out at this angle and kind of push into it. It's better than nothing, but you want to make sure that you're emulating the push-up correctly as much as possible. So you'll find this a lot simpler to kind of keep those elbows in when you start at an angle. Do it that way. As you get a little stronger, bring the angle lower, closer and closer to the ground until eventually you're just straight up on the floor. But also remember this, your body is only going to adapt to something that you're doing consistently, right? And consistently doesn't mean you did it once at the beginning of the month and then kind of later on towards the end of the month. And what a shock you didn't get any better at it. You need to do it a lot, a whole bunch, like any exercise, like anything that you want to do. So whether or not you're doing it every day is one thing, but hell, try, right? If you start to feel soreness in your rotator cuffs, take a rest day. But keep trying, keep pushing it. You know, once you start to get comfortable at an angle, make sure that you're always challenging yourself and getting a little lower and lower. Always look for that part where you do get to failure, where you're trying to do that push-up and you don't come up anymore, and that's fine, you know. Get used to the idea of struggling through it, and next thing you know, you're going to be doing them like a champ. It happens. You have to understand that you are capable of improving at this. Also, if you've been doing them incorrectly for a long time, sometimes it's really easy to make a habit out of, I talked about habits last time, it's really easy to make a habit out of a bad movement pattern, and then you don't even realize it, but you're just kind of trucking away at the wrong thing, and you can make it a little bit more efficient by kind of just tightening up. Even if you have to bring an incline back into it, you know, swallow your pride sometimes. So, let's talk about different types of push-ups. I think I'm going to do the rest of them right here from this angle, because honestly, everything else with the push-up variants are the same. The back stays straight, those feet stay together. Don't let your heels kind of come out either. Bring them together, nice and straight line. It needs to be as perfect as possible. Learn with perfect form while it's easy, so when it's difficult, you can kind of throw the form away and just grunt a couple out, right? But variants, the wide push-up. So this one's really popular. Oh man, I seem kind of imbalanced. I had an injured, like right here, a little muscle, or little bones right there. So dorsiflexion really hurt. So I'm a little imbalanced, aren't I? Yeah, a little bit. Okay. But wide. So instead of bringing those elbows in here, now you're going to come out. And this is popularly mistaken as an actual push-up, is a wide push-up. It works out your back a little bit more, and you kind of feel this up here, the little chest that connects to your shoulder, that muscle right here, you'll feel that there a little bit more. Sometimes I'll let my hands slightly externally rotate, not much, but that's mostly because of little injuries I have in those metacarpals or whatever they're called. So everything else is the same, nice and wide, up and down. You can see where that angle is too. So standard push-up, wide push-up. You're out, maybe a little splayed out. Third one that I like a lot, the close grip. So you're making like a little diamond, you know, and you're going to put this directly in the middle of your chest, right in the middle of your sternum. This is going to work out your triceps a little bit, and it's difficult to do. It is probably the hardest of like the 3 basic push-ups. If you're good at doing these and okay at these, go ahead and bring yourself up on the incline if you have to. Sometimes you still can't get that diamond push-up correct, even when the other two are good. But make a little diamond, come out right over it. So like I said, your chest is directly over it, feet together, all the way down, all the way up. It's really, really tempting to stay in that range there, but there's a whole range of muscles that you're ignoring if you keep it like that. So make sure you keep it honest. You know, if you can only come down halfway when on the floor or whatever angle you're used to working at, increase the angle for that push-up. Make sure you get to your chest. Make sure you come up. 1 correct rep is worth 100 incorrect ones. You need to make sure you're training the muscles fully. Honestly, I don't know if there's much else I can actually rant on about this. I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting something, and I'll probably remember it after I make the video. But those are the basics. You know, that doesn't change. The human machine has not really evolved all that much in the past in our history. So, you know, just keep those tips in mind, and you'll get a little better at it. Speed. If you're knocking out, you do it quickly. You're working on your power, which is how quickly you can exert your strength. If you do them slowly, you build your strength up. Alternate, you know. Time under tension push-ups are very effective at building your strength up, which will give you a reserve to work on your power. And by time under tension, I mean making the movement so slow that you're counting 10 seconds to come all the way down, and then 10 seconds all the way up. Now, you're hitting a window, you're just kind of doing a count, so you don't necessarily have to have a timer there. It doesn't hurt to do it that way either. But if you're kind of going over 12 seconds is almost too slow. If you're only counting to like 8, or less, then you're going a little too fast. But you really want to make sure that you're keeping perfect form throughout it. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sucks at first. You'll also feel your heart rate go up when you're doing time under tension. It's a really good way to do low impact cardio, especially if you're kind of new to it. So if you're starting out push-ups or just fitness in general, find a nice big incline, something that you can work on but still challenges you. Get a couple of those time under tensions in there, and I like several sets of 10, but do whatever kind of brings you to failure, or at least gets you a good burn. I think that's everything. So no fancy sign off. Hopefully that helps somebody kind of either start getting their push-ups in. It's a really good way to kind of work on that push upper body strength. I already talked about pull-ups at one point, so that's another way to kind of get your pull. Yep, cool. I'm rambling. End of that. Have a good one.